All right, welcome back, everybody. How's your week been since the last time we talked? What's been happening? Have you checked in with yourself? Have you checked in with your community? What are they saying? What are you saying? Right? For me, it's been a lot going on in my life. Even though I'm coming from a perspective of writing this book, publishing this book, and everything else, right? I'm still in my waiting season for many things. And then other things have come to fruition and come to pass. And now they're developing into so many other things. But currently, one of my pain points is dealing with survival mode, being in survival mode, not coming out of it, but just learning to live in it, developing the skill, the coping skills, the management, everything to stay in it and just going, thriving, achieving, but never really taking a deep breath to live, right? And then now when God wants to sit you down and say, okay, girl, get your rest, you like, what does that mean? Right? So I don't know what you're going through, but I'm gonna tell you about me and what I'm going through right now. God revealed to me that I was always in survival mode because I was wondering, I was asking him, okay, God, like, why am I so burnt out? Why am I so tired? Why am I, all these things? And with my community of people, we felt led for us to pray for each other. We do Zoom calls and we also just encourage each other through a group chat throughout the week, throughout the day, however it is. But this week, I just really felt led to pray for each other, right? So take a person, pray for another person, pray for another person, pray for another person. So it's wraparound prayer. During that time, as I'm praying for my person, all these things starts to come up about myself. And one of the big things is survival mode. So when I'm asking, why am I tired? Why am I burnt out? Why am I just wanting to just not get out of bed some days because I just want to lay there, watch a cartoon or binge watch one of my favorite TV shows or like I usually do, watch some channels on YouTube on different things, right? And he revealed to me that I am in survival mode. And for those who don't know about survival mode, I'm going to take you to a therapy journey with this piece a little bit. So in a nutshell and very simplified version is survival mode is like always preparing for anything that's going to happen because you know something is going to happen. So you want to stay 10 steps ahead. In a therapy realm, it's almost like you're in fight, flight, fawn, and fear all the time, which is only supposed to be for a very temporary moment to get you to a safe space. And then you can decompress and come back to what your body is supposed to be doing. But those living in that heightens every sense that you have. So sometimes you may be thinking like, oh, well, I'm studying for this exam, but then you always thinking like, okay, well, then what's next? What's next? What's next? That's survival mode because right now you can never relax to say, okay, I've done good enough. Let me rest and then see how this works and then go forth on other things. It's always, no, I can do more. I can do better. Things like that choice between taking a vacation and maybe getting caught up on bills. Bills are always going to be there. Now, I'm not saying put yourself in more debt when you know you already don't have the money. Don't do that. And I strongly discourage you to put a vacation on a Klarna payment. Okay. What I'm talking about is you have the money, you're current, your credit is good, you're in good financial standing, and you're like, okay, I need a break, I need a vacation. But then you talk yourself out because here comes a call from another client or they're asking you to do more at work or you're like, well, if I leave, then what's going to happen to my job, different things like that. That's kind of survival mode right there. That's what I'm talking about. So I was having a conversation with my community and I was letting them know how I was feeling, and I was burnt, I was fried, I even felt a little depression coming on, and I'm very truthful and transparent with them. One of my people in the community calls me and she's like, Darnita, get your rest. And I was like, excuse me? Now let's talk about this because a couple weeks ago I had to get her together about a situation she was going through. But now here's my turn. And if anybody is like me, it don't necessarily feel good. You respect it, you need it. But it's like, ugh, who told you to tell you that? Tell me that, right? But at the same time, it's that love, that partnership, that accountability, because I've been talking about community and accountability a lot lately, that holds you to being a better you. I'm not saying as a better you, as a high achiever or anything like that. No, just to be a better you to you. So as a therapist, I work with inner child wounds a lot, and I'm always educating people about how they become their own child. So some of my male clients, I always say, okay, you are your son. How are you going to raise your son? For my women clients, I'm like, okay, this is you are your daughter. How would you raise your daughter? Because I guarantee you, the things that you accept, you would not allow anybody to treat your child that way. And that was the same thing here, right? And so as she's talking to me, I'm literally almost in tears, y'all. And then I was just like, ugh, you get on my last nerve. But I had to accept and take it for what she was saying because she was absolutely right. Everything that she said, she was right. She told me I needed to take my rest. I've got to start saying no more. And especially because I want to start transitioning from being full-time practice, group practice, into business development, public speaking, writing, things like that. I can't be submersed in everything thinking I have to, keep all the balls in the air, and I am the only juggler. Because if that's the case, then I'm also not trusting God in this. And that's where she kind of towed me up right there. She snatched my neck because I trust God, but I am also being revealed, and I'm thankful for this, of the layers that I don't. So now it challenges me to say, okay, Lord, I got to repent first of all, because I thought I was trusting you out here in these streets for everything. But guess what? No, I was not. And that was a pill to swallow. It wasn't necessarily tough, but it was a big one, right? Then on top of that call, then the conference starts. And the woman on stage starts talking about women and being a rib. Now, I've been always told that the acronym for rib is rest in the broken places, right? And so that's how we're supposed to be for our husband and different things like that. But she described the rib in so much detail in a different way that I needed so bad. And she told me up too. But in a nutshell, what she was talking about is the rib is such a special bone in our body that it offers protection. But it also, if it's in a specific area, because she told me about 3 different ribs now. I thought we just had rib, like a rib cage, right? Um, and remember, we talk about a rib cage because she did something real good with that rib cage too. But as the rib, she said that the rib is something that protects. It protects the hearts and the other organs around it. And that's what women do. And then as she started talking more, she was saying that women protect, women lead, women are always, at the forefront of things like that, right? And we can take on different aspects of it. But one thing she talked about with that the rib cage was the rib cage represents sisterhood because it's not just one rib, it's all the ribs going in tandem and working together. Because what she was saying was they have the true rib, the false rib, and the floating rib. And the floating rib can sometimes cause a lot of damage because if it floats, it can puncture an organ. It can, cut internally, cause internal bleeding and different things like that. And how it's important to put it back in its supposed space. And that also is the rib cage for the sisterhood, right? So a lot of times women, you may hear women say, oh, I don't mess with other women because this is real messy. Well, we have got to work through some type of community here, okay? And that is our community. So sometimes if, people aren't in the right place in our community, we may have to put them out and move other people in. And so this where's the community and personal accountability starts, right? Because you got to check yourself sometimes. My friend checked me, God checked me, the lady on the stage checked me, and I had to just sit there and I had to breathe it in. I had to take it in. It wasn't necessarily, it didn't feel good all the time, but I respected it. I loved it and I needed it because that means there are people, who don't even know me, who fed into me and saw me. People who really do know me was like, girl, you know that you can do better and you can do it differently. And it's okay not to have all the answers, be able to do everything and just call it out. In which I don't think I always have all the answers anyway, right? I'm not one of those people be like, oh, I know it all. I really don't. But also for God to see me. Because a lot of times we think because we can't tangibly see, like you can see my hand doing this, and we can't tangibly see God, that it's like, he out there doing something, he'll get to me later. No, 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 no. He is all around here. He sees us, he loves us, and he is always, again, talking to us, loving on us, correcting us to get us into alignment and the place that he wants us to be so he can use us for his glory.